Take back your power.
With various forms of proportional representation in place for some time now in 94 countries, the advantages to be gained by moving to a system of proportional representation are not theoretical in nature. They are based on the observable differences between proportional representation and a winner-take-all system with single winner districts.
There are numerous problems with the way we conduct our elections. The root cause of these problems is the fact that we elect members of Congress and state legislatures using a winner-take-all system combined with single-member districts. With a single candidate elected to represent each district, only the voters who voted for that candidate are truly represented. In leaving all voters who are in the minority unrepresented, this system violates the first principle of democracy, representation in proportion to numbers. The solution is proportional representation. In winner-take-all single-member systems, two parties dominate. With proportional representation, there are always more than two parties. Natural patterns of voter distribution contribute to the problems of a winner-take-all system. Democrats tend to cluster in urban areas, while Republican voters outnumber Democrats in most suburban and rural areas. These natural variations in patterns of voter distribution often lead to distortions in representation with winner-take-all systems. Proportional representation eliminates these distortions. Gerrymandering, the practice of drawing political boundaries to give one party an advantage over the other, adds to these distortions in representation that are inherent in a single winner system. Proportional representation puts an end to gerrymandering. With 5 or more winners in a larger district, the effects of gerrymandering are neutralized. With statewide elections, there are no district lines to be drawn. Third-party and independent candidates rarely have a realistic chance of winning in a winner-take-all contest from a single winner district. They often act as spoiler candidates who indirectly hurt the major party candidate whom they and their supporters would clearly favor over the other major party candidate. With proportional representation, third-party and independent candidates win seats in legislatures and work in harmony with the dominant parties on an issue-by-issue basis. Voter participation in primary elections is very low in a winner-take-all system because there is rarely a meaningful choice to be made. Contested primaries are rare, especially those with the choice of more than 2 candidates. With the party list system of proportional representation, primary elections are extremely important, with voters determining the order in which candidates will appear on their party's ordered list, and therefore which candidates are most likely to win election from each party in the general election. With more candidates and more parties to choose from, voter participation is much greater in countries with proportional representation. Our elections have devolved into endless fundraising campaigns, punctuated by advertising campaigns as each election approaches. Candidates raise vast sums of money and spend much of it on television advertising attacking their opponents. This aspect of our elections has contributed significantly to the perception of most voters that politics is a dirty business and that most politicians are corrupt. Money does not play nearly as dominant a role in countries with proportional representation. With multiple winners from each district and many more candidates as a result, attack ads are pointless, and the focus shifts to party platforms and the issues addressed within them. It is more difficult for media to limit their coverage of elections to reporting on which candidates have raised the most money and who is ahead in the polls. Elections should be focused on issues instead of personalities. This brings us back to the biggest flaw in a winner-take-all system with single-member districts. It can leave a sizable minority of voters unrepresented. We often speak of red states and blue states, and in a winner-take-all system, that is accurate. Republican voters in a state controlled by the Democratic Party are unrepresented. Democratic voters in a Republican state are unrepresented. With proportional representation, all voters are represented. Instead of red states and blue states, we get a more accurate image of the United States, 50 shades of purple. Moving away from our current winner-take-all system to a system of proportional representation will do more to improve the quality of our elections and our government than any other change we could make. If we want genuine democracy, we must adopt proportional representation.
Government by the People is promoting 2 proposals for proportional representation. To learn more or to join our campaign, visit governmentbythepeople.org.